Hello, my name is Tony Dong. I am from Vietnam. Nvidia crashes after a week of big gains. Nvidia is quickly erasing its huge gains from earlier in the week. At the beginning of trading Friday, there was no reason to believe that Nvidia would do anything other than continue to go through the roof. But then, a single analyst came out loudly as a bear, when so many people were trying to outdo each other with more and more outlandish book calls. That call was followed by a crash in the final hours of trading that almost knocked out all its gains from earlier in the week. While we are fans of the emerging business in auto gaming, and have the prospects of these technologies doubled in value in 6 months, or is this an example of analysts chasing stock price? Citron, a research firm, asked in a white paper released Friday. The white paper was discussed widely on Twitter, and trended under searches for Nvidia stock. Markets Insider wrote a story about the paper Friday morning. At the time of that story, Nvidia was up around 5%. Since then, only hours later, Nvidia is down about 10% from its Friday open. Nvidia now seems to be following its fellow tech stocks into the ground. The general markets were weighed down Friday by tech stocks everywhere losing. Citron said the bullish calls by fellow Wall Street operators UBS, RBC, and Citi were overblown. As the bulls point to growing artificial intelligence, data center, and machine learning demands, Citron points out that their core business, gaming computers, has no reason to rapidly expand soon. Citron says the stock will fall to 130. Around 2:50 p.m. it was trading around 144, after falling 10% Friday. Thank you for watching. For the follow-up, subscribe to the channel yourself here.
Is Nvidia bullish research, who says Nvidia chips could be used in large-scale data centers and that more of those centers are being built to keep up with demand in artificial intelligence and virtual reality. The firm increased its target price for the stock to 180, representing an 8.5% upside to the current share price. Wednesday announced their increased target price. It was a 21% upside. The stock took off Citi's call, but Citron says the move is not sustainable. The white paper points out that the number of call options on Nvidia is exploding in popularity. Because traders aren't actually buying the shares, it's like the market is pricing lottery tickets. 160 calls, not an investment in future prospects on NVDA in common stock, Citron said its report. The stock took off Citi's call, but Citron says the move is not sustainable. The white paper points out that companies with the stock took off Citi's call, but Citron says the move is not sustainable. The white paper points out that the number of call options on Nvidia is exploding in popularity. Because traders aren't actually buying the shares, it's like the market is pricing lottery tickets. 160 calls, not an investment in future prospects on NVDA in common stock, Citron said its report. Only time will tell who is right. Thank you for watching. For the follow-up, subscribe to the channel yourself here.
It is expected that autonomous cars will eventually completely take over regular cars, which indicates a tremendous increase in the demand for Nvidia's products. Because as Nvidia's management states, we continue to view AI as the only solution for autonomous driving. The nearly infinite range of road conditions, traffic patterns, and unexpected events are impossible to anticipate with hand-coded software or computer vision alone. It is expected that most software in the future will feature some part of AI in it. The company is not just sitting by and hoping that others will gain enough interest to make its products popular. The Nvidia Deep Learning Institute has plans to train 100,000 developers this year, a 1,000% LOI increase, with a dozen new self-paced and instructor-led labs, returning value to shareholders. The recent increase in Nvidia's top line has caused its bottom line to significantly increase as well. Since FY 2017, Nvidia has managed to more than triple its net income. In the TTM, the company is starting to see increasing value. And when that happens, it is time to give something back to your shareholders. Nvidia does this in the way of dividends and share buybacks. Nvidia did not start paying out dividends until 2013. It started at 0.07 annually and has now grown to 0.56 or 0.4%. Although this percentage is quite low, we must not forget that the company only recently started its path of amazing growth. It will take a while before dividends will catch up with the share price, as this is still very much an extraordinary growth stock. Management intends to return 1.25 billion in total to shareholders over the course of FY 2018, or 1.4% of the current market. Increasing competition a possible risk. One risk for the amazing growth story is of course competition. Nvidia is currently ahead of everyone in the area of AI. But since the technology sector is a very competitive one, we have to keep checking whether Nvidia's products stay superior to that of its competitors now that AI is becoming increasingly popular. High valuation, but an amazing growth stock. While the main risk is of course seen as the high valuation this stock currently has, it is not as absurd as it might seem. The current PE of 49.9 is not even double that of the industry average of 26.1, while the company is seeing growth rates around 50% and an even better outlook. The gaming segment is expected to go ahead at a similar pace, while its AI business is expected to boom over the coming years. This is more than enough reason to justify a valuation of a PE that is less than 50. Therefore, I believe that Nvidia still has upside potential and is far from overvalued. That being said, investors should realize that investing in Nvidia means investing in a growth story. The high valuations that come with this can cause risky investments. And although I believe this stock could go higher, be sure you feel comfortable with the risks. Companies with to comment on this article and other Make World content, visit our Facebook page or our Twitter.
3,458 shares of Nvidia stock in a transaction dated Friday, March the 17th. The shares were sold at an average price of 105.32, for a total transaction of 5,630,196.56. Following the transaction, the Chief Financial Officer now directly owns 391,354 shares of the company's stock, valued at 41,217,403.28. The disclosure for this sale can be found here. Insiders have sold a total of 446,582 shares of company stock valued at 55,120,680 over the last 3 months. 5.82% of the stock is currently owned by insiders. Institutional investors have recently made changes to their positions in the stock. Proficio Capital Partners LLC boosted its stake in Nvidia by 186.1% in the first quarter. Proficio Capital Partners LLC now owns 841 shares of the computer hardware maker's stock valued at $117,000 after buying an additional 547 shares during the last quarter. Quadrant Capital Group LLC boosted its stake in Nvidia by 17.5% in the first quarter. Quadrant Capital Group LLC now owns 1,055 shares of the computer hardware maker's stock valued at $105,000 after buying an additional 157 shares during the last quarter. Coconut Grove Bank boosted its stake in Nvidia by 683.9% in the first quarter. Coconut Grove Bank now owns 1,215 shares of the computer hardware maker's stock valued at $132,000 after buying an additional 1,030.00 and gave the company a buy rating in a report on Friday, February the 10th. 6 analysts have rated the stock with a sell rating, 14 have assigned a hold rating, 18 have assigned a buy rating, and 2 have assigned a strong buy rating to the company. The stock has an average rating of hold and a consensus price target of 113.96.
In related news, FPJK Pori sold 133,542 shares of the company's stock in a transaction dated Thursday, March 30th. The stock was sold at an average price of 108.53, for a total value of 14,493,313.26. Following the completion of the sale, the executive vice president now owns 601,367 shares in the company, valued at 65,266,360.51. The transaction was disclosed in a filing with the Securities Exchange Commission, which is available at the SEC website. Also, Deborah Sjoquist sold 63,717 shares of the company's stock in a transaction dated Tuesday, May 30th. The shares were sold at an average price of $144.81, for a total value of $9,226,858.77. Following the completion of the sale, the executive vice president now owns 330,040 shares of the company's stock, valued at approximately $47,793,092.40. The disclosure for the sale can be found here. In the last 90 days, insiders have sold 446,582 shares of company stock valued at $55,120,680. 5.82% of the stock is currently owned by corporate insiders. Nvidia company profile. Nvidia Corporation focuses on personal computer PC graphics processing unit (GPU), and also an artificial intelligence AI. The company operates through two segments: GPU and Tegra processor. The company's GPU product brands are aimed at specialized markets, including GeForce for gamers, Quadro for designers, Tesla and DGX for AI data scientists and big data researchers, and Grid for cloud-based visual computing users. Receive news ratings for NVIDIA Co. Daily. Enter your email address below to receive a concise daily summary of the latest news and analysts' ratings.